first forecast on KMOL News Nightcast. KMOL News at 5 is next.
Coming up next, San Antonio firefighters battle a stubborn tire blaze on the city's south side. Summer violence sparked 7 overnight shootings. And a memorial to AIDS victims worldwide makes a stop in San Antonio.
Live from the heart of Texas, this is KMOL News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joan Lucas. Randy Beamer has the weekend off. If you have been traveling anywhere inside the city limits today, you couldn't miss a huge pillar of smoke coming from the south side. The tire and grass fire is still burning, and the first crews have already been relieved. Kim Alvarado is at the scene. Kim, where exactly is this fire burning?
And I'm just south of Stenson Field. In fact, within feet of the landing strip. It's burning in a large area right now. This is what's left of it. It's debris, and basically what caused the large pillar of smoke is junk. There are hundreds of old rubber tires, about 400 to 500 salvage cars, and that's according to the owner of most of the charred property. He said they had a small fire early this morning, and that may have sparked this afternoon's blaze that has been going on for more than 4 hours. At one point, about a dozen police units and later county patrols blocked off all traffic leading anywhere near the fire. Now, this worried some residents who weren't allowed to return to their homes.
I told them if we could go to our house, because I told them that we lived just 3 houses down, and they said that for us not to go because they had the sergeant or something like that. They had just told them not to go.
Are you worried about the people in your home?
Yeah, I'm worried about them because I don't know if they're going to burn down or what. My house is right there near it. The smoke's right there.
The police department asked that about 6 households evacuate from their area near the fire. Some have opted to return, but others are playing it safe. And the fire is concentrated in a deep ravine right behind me, so it looks like they're just letting it burn itself out and try to block off any other areas that may be in effect. Joan?
Kim, we could see that smoke from so far away, such a large blaze. Was anybody injured?
There were 2 firefighters who were overcome by heat and the intense heat trying to fight the fire. One was serious enough to be taken to the hospital. But when you look at it, there have been 19 units out here battling this ornery blaze, so that's a pretty good record. It's sad that he was hurt and had to be taken to the hospital, but all in all, they're doing a great job.
Thank you, Kim. Kim Alvarado on the south side. We'll have more later at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, on the southwest side of town, firefighters were called to a blaze, also a 2-alarm blaze. The second fire began shortly after 1 this afternoon and also burned up a field full of tires and brush. 2 alarms had to be called because the fire burned on both city and county property. The blaze was brought under control within an hour and no one was injured. There were several anxious moments for a downtown family this morning. Telephone workers accidentally punctured a high-pressure gas main while installing a telephone pole. Firefighters and CPS crews were called in to block off the area, and one family had to be evacuated from their home. Several other families in the area were warned to turn off their pilot lights to avoid an explosion. CPS crews closed off the leak after several hours. San Antonio police say they are running ragged after a rash of summer shootings and murders. And last night, another 7 shootings were added to the list. Just before 3 this morning, 53-year-old Eulalia Lozano shot and killed her common-law husband after a violent argument. She has been charged with murder. An hour earlier, 19-year-old Sean Beam was seriously injured after he was attacked and shot by 2 unknown men. Police say Bean was trying to run away from his assailants when he apparently fell. The 2 men approached him and shot him several times before fleeing the scene. Bean was rushed to Brooke Army Medical Center where he is in serious condition. No arrests have been made in that case. No arrests have been made in 2 other overnight shootings as well. Shortly after midnight, 19-year-old Epifanio Alvarado and 32-year-old Jesse Wingrove were shot while walking past a party on the east side. Both men are in stable condition at Southeast Baptist Hospital. At another party on the city's north side, 3 men were shot after an apparent fight. Police say several people walked into the party on Marquis Street when one of them pulled out a gun and began shooting at partygoers. 3 men were hit, but none of them are seriously injured. A newborn baby abandoned outside a Northside emergency clinic has a new home this weekend. Workers at the Texas Medical Clinic found the baby boy last Saturday. Doctors say he was only 2 hours old. After a week at Medical Center Hospital, Matthew, as he is called, is living with his new foster parents and 2 new siblings. And if no one comes forward to claim Matthew, his new family will become his permanent one. Turning to news around the state, Coast Guard officials in Galveston are relieved the fire on the Norwegian tanker Megaborg, I should know this, I've been down there all week, is finally out. That's good news. And warning the tanker still poses a great threat to the Gulf. Today, firefighters continue to douse the vessel with water to avoid a reflash. Officials say the hull of the ship is still extremely hot and could reignite. Coast Guard officials say they could be able to start unloading the fuel from the tanker within about several days. So far, the tanker has spilled 4.3 million gallons of oil, most of which burned up or evaporated. In Harlingen, another family that lost a child in the state's worst bus accident has settled out of court. And parents of 15-year-old Maria Alfaro have settled for $4.5 million. In the accident last September, 21 students were killed when a Coca-Cola bottling truck ran a stop sign and knocked the bus into a water-filled pit. So far, 18 out of the 21 families have settled out of court with the Coca-Cola bottling company. 6 years ago, the idea to make travel between San Antonio and Mexico City was just that. But today, light rail is miles closer to a reality. City and Mexican officials signed the deal to build a track. The next step is signing up passengers.
We don't have a very good feel for what the demand is from San Antonio going south. But we do know that we have 10 million plus visitors to San Antonio a year. We do know that on our surveys, people are interested in pursuing trips out of San Antonio.
The next light rail conference is 2 months away when the group travels to Laredo. And coming up next, we'll take a look at a memorial to AIDS victims. Tragedy continues to strike in Ohio today as searchers find the body of a 5-year-old girl. She was discovered alongside a creek, and she makes the 12th victims of Friday's flash floods. Dozens of people are missing from the town of Shadyside, where the waters were the heaviest. However, it is believed that some of those people may have left the area before the disaster. In news from around the world, the people of Bucharest are trying to return their lives to normal. Today, thousands of miners brought in to discourage anti-government action left the city. Trains and buses packed with club-wielding miners pulled out following a speech by the president, thanking them for saving the revolution. With their departure, dissidents came out of hiding to take a look at the destruction of their offices. One kind of art exhibit is on display in San Antonio. The AIDS quilt made its debut in Washington 3 years ago, and as Susan Novak explains, the collection is made entirely by hand by friends and family of AIDS victims.
Walter J. Porter, Jr., Don Alvin Hoppel.
Each name is special, each one called out as one less person who never survived.
And my precious son, David Garland Kinney.
There are a lot of sons represented here. David is just one who died from the AIDS disease. Julia Ponder lost her son 1 year ago.
He was a real special person, the light in my life. I miss him terribly. I lost my best friend. I know a lot of people say that may be a cliche, but I lost my best friend when I lost him.
Jerry McCall was 26 when he died. After that, his parents got involved in the NAMES project. For them, it's a form of therapy.
Our way of helping to defeat the disease, which we will do someday. It's coming. Of course, it'll be too late for a lot, but we're doing our part.
This quilt is coming together slowly. There's some 12,000 pieces to put together. Each one's a little bit different, but they are all the same size, 3 by 6 feet, the same size as a coffin. There's a reason for that.
So you can look at the quilt and say that's fairly representative of that many people who have been lost, laid out before you as though it were the opening scene to Gone with the Wind.
And my bowling buddy, good friend, who's
Novak, KMOL News.
The quilt is on display through the weekend. From here, the AIDS quilt will be moved to San Francisco, but it'll also be on display all over the country. There's a birthday celebration today for Donald Trump, and he told employees he may have gambled, but he hasn't lost yet. Trump turned 44 the day before he failed to make a critical $31 million debt payment. In his speech, he criticized news reporters for focusing on his financial woes. For his birthday, Trump received a chocolate cupcake with a pink candle and an 8-foot by 10-foot picture of himself. A little vain there. Even if you're the picture of health, informing the public on some common diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure kept nurses at the Brady Green Health Clinic busy today. It is all part of the center's first health fair, and visitors can see how fit they are with everything from free blood pressure checks to eye exams. Nurses say the patients they examined today are all in pretty good health, but since there are such a large turnout, the center may have another health fair soon. And they may have been treating some people for heat exhaustion today. Exactly, another hot one.
Oh, we got up to, well, the heat index is 104 right now. The temperature's probably 100 degrees. At 4 o'clock, it was 99 degrees. Let's take a look and see what we have. We have sunshine out there, or partly sunny skies. The temperature was, as I mentioned, at 4 o'clock, 99 degrees. Now, the winds, a very slight little breeze, about 8 miles per hour. We'll take a closer look exactly what's going on right after this. Well, now let's take a look and see what's going on outside. With partly cloudy skies, we had 99, as I mentioned, at 4 o'clock, and the wind's not too bad, about 8 miles per hour. It's still 99. That's what I was waiting to see for 5 o'clock. The humidity, 34%, so that's not too bad. The winds from the southeast at 9 miles per hour, now gusting up to 16 miles per hour. The barometer, 29, and falling just a little bit. Low temperatures this morning, 78 for Abilene, 62 out in Marfa, so that cooled down just a little bit. As far as the state temperatures, during the last couple of days, there were no 60s whatsoever. Up in the Panhandle, 70 degrees, 77 for San Antonio, 78 for Laredo. As I mentioned, at 4 o'clock, we had 98 for San Antonio, 99 now, 103 degrees down in Laredo. Now, Laredo yesterday got up to 105, and that was also not only the high for the state, but the high for the nation. Take a look at the heat index at 4 o'clock. Now, that's the temperature combined with the humidity. So out in West Texas, it's very dry, so we don't have that problem. But from Wichita Falls with 101, 104 heat index for San Antonio. Along the coastal area, 102 for Houston, 103, Corpus Christi, 103, Brownsville. But look at Laredo, 106 degrees. Now, there is some rain out there, not a lot of rain. We got some rain over west of Del Rio, in and around the Big Bend area. Had some rain earlier this afternoon around Uvalde, but that is now all dissipated. You folks in Uvalde were lucky. Maybe things cooled off just a little bit over there. Now you're saying, oh, well, it's humid. Some rain also up around the Red River, and at the same time, we got some shower activity in Louisiana up into Arkansas and Missouri, and also some severe areas throughout the United States. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for portions of Iowa over into Illinois, and at the same time, tornado watch in effect for the yellow blocks right here. Tornado watch from Nebraska, Kansas, Nebraska, and the southern portion of South Dakota. Get that out there. Talk about nice and cool. 29 degrees with a low temperature in Truckee, California for the nation. San Antonio's forecast fair tonight. Tomorrow morning, we're expecting partly cloudy skies. Low temperature the same as it was this morning. Tomorrow afternoon, sunny, 100 for the high. Monday, 100. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, no big changes as the temperatures, well, drop a little bit if you want to say 96 or 97, but out of that 100-degree range. So we're expecting a heat index tomorrow of about 104 or 105 degrees again. So
called a CPS weather. They love to see
this is called shopping in the mall weather, you know.
Thanks, Bill. It's perfect weather to hop on your Harley and head into the sun, and that's exactly what about 100 motorcycle enthusiasts are doing today. You could say these guys are in hog heaven. They're all part of today's National Harley-Davidson Poker Run for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. The bikers pick up cards as they ride around Loop 410. While the rider with the best hand wins $150, the event is expected to raise more than $5,000 for Jerry's kids locally. And Jack Nicklaus doesn't need a Harley to get around the U.S. Open.
Doing very well. We'll have all the leaderboard and more sports, including Isaiah Thomas, after this. Well, not since 1905 has anyone won 3 straight U.S. Open championships, and for the first 2 rounds of this tournament, it looked like it would stay that way. The tough, tree-lined course at Medina had been hard on 2-time champ Curtis Strange. That was, though, until today. Strange with a 4 under 68 on the day. This birdie on 17 put him at 5 under par. He's right back in it because Scott Simpson, who at one point was 9 under, had a triple bogey here on 17. One of the leaders is Texan Billy Ray Brown, who played under par in all 3 rounds thus far. This is just his first U.S. Open. The tee shot here on 13, just about 6 feet away from the pin. Mike Donald is tied with Brown atop the leaderboard at 7 under. And if you thought that was a nice shot, check out the backspin on this approach. Donald left that one for a birdie. Another one of the Simpsons, Tim, is also among the leaders. Here he knocks down the long par-saving putt. Also, that was on 14. Yeah, let's go to the leaderboard. Billy Ray Brown and Mike Donald tied at 7 under. Jeff Sluman is at 6 under, followed by Mark Brooks. Also, some of the big names I talked about, Larry Nelson at 6 under, Scott Simpson, Curtis Strange looking for his 3rd straight at 5 under, as is Fuzzy Zeller. Also, some others among the leaderboard, Seve Ballesteros at 3 under, Jack Nicklaus, hey, things on Sunday, stranger things have happened for Jack on Sunday. Paul Azinger at 3 under, as is Greg Norman. From the greens of the U.S. Open to the grass courts of London. Yes, it's June, and yes, they're playing on tennis on grass in England, but no, this is not Wimbledon. Today, John McEnroe and Yvonne Lendl met in the semifinals of the Stella Artois Championship. It's a tune-up for Wemby, and you know it wouldn't be a McEnroe match without some arguments with the linesman. However, I think Mac may have met his match with the guy in the turban. McEnroe definitely met his match in Lendl, who had 9 aces on the day. Lendl took the first set 6-2. McEnroe looked good at times. Lendl will come to the net. Mac with the blazing backhand for the pass, but it was just too much power from Yvonne today. Take you to match point. Lendl with another ace coming up here. Smokes it by McEnroe. He wins it 6-2, 6-4. Lendl now moves on to the finals against Boris Becker, who defeated Stefan Edberg in the other semifinal. Well, just 2 days after winning a world championship and the series' most valuable player award, Isaiah Thomas's celebration has been cut short. Thomas has been named in an FBI gambling investigation. Although he is not accused of betting on sporting events, Thomas reportedly hosted high-stakes dice games in his home, and a grand jury has subpoenaed over $100,000 worth of checks that Thomas cashed at a local grocery store owned by one of the suspects in an alleged gambling ring. The Rangers were in Seattle last night, and by the looks of Mariner pitcher Randy Johnson, you knew it was going to be a wild night. Seattle got a great catch here from Jeffrey Leonard, who makes the hot play, but that wasn't as hot as the fire in the Seattle bullpen. And of course, when all else fails, the perfect extinguisher is, of course, Gatorade. The Rangers got 2 RBIs from Pete Incaviglia. This double will score Harold Range. The Rangers won it. Got to show you a play from last night in San Francisco. Terry Kennedy with the line drive off the head of Pete Smith of the Braves. 2 runs scored on the play. But again, in slow-mo, Pete Smith will take this one off his ear. He was taken to a local hospital where x-rays showed he had a mild concussion. On to the National League scoreboard from today. San Diego, the Dodgers lead San Diego 5-2 in the 8th inning. San Francisco 7-0 over Atlanta, also in the 8th. The Astros and Cincinnati play tonight. In the American League, California losers to the Tigers today. Boston up on Baltimore. That is now a final. Nolan Ryan goes for his 2nd consecutive no-hitter tonight in Seattle. And our San Antonio Missions in Wichita, they'll play a doubleheader. The Missions are just 1.5 games behind El Paso. Even though the Missions are out of town, there will be some exciting baseball over at VJ Keefe tonight. The 7th annual Optimist All-Star Game will get underway at about 7 o'clock. The game features the city's best high school players, including Mike Coolbaugh, who will be reporting to the Toronto Blue Jays organization next week. And finally, with the weather as nice and hot as it's been, our outdoor reporter, Alan Warren, tells us that if you're going to go out, make sure your boat is ready also.
That big bass hit right as soon as the spinnerbait came on the other side of the bush. Bassy. Look at you. Yeah, that's a dandy. Fishing is a lot easier today than it was 15 to 20 years ago. due in part to advancements in equipment like depth finders and temperature gauges. Even the lights on most boat trailers have been improved and are now waterproof, which prevents bulbs from being prematurely blown. But rather than taking any chances, make sure and unplug your trailer lights before you go backing down into the lake. And something else, how long has it been since you checked how tight your hitch ball was? Don't take for granted that your hitch is going to stay tight forever. And that goes for your lug nuts as well. Especially on a new trailer, lug nuts will occasionally have a tendency to back off on you while driving. As far as your wheel bearings go, about once a year you want to make sure and take it into a dealer and have them repacked with grease. And while your rig is in the shop, about once a year or so, it's also a good idea to have the fluid changed down in your lower unit. You know, taking care of your boat, motor, and trailer is kind of like doing your taxes. If you don't take care of it, it's going to get you in trouble. With the Outdoor Report, I'm Alan Warren.
I don't know about fishing, but I like to water ski and make sure your boat's ready.
I was just going to say, I've never water skied on a boat that fast, so thanks a lot, Ron. We'll be back right after this. We have time for a quick look at this evening's weather if people are going out.
Very warm this evening. We're expecting, of course, today's high close to 100 degrees, but tonight it's going to be like 85 degrees, so dress according to the weather.
Thanks, Bill. Keep it light and stay home and enjoy your air conditioning with the NBC lineup. Then join us back here again at KMOL News at Nightcast on 10. We'll see you then.